think this might be my villain arc.
Perfect.
I could definitely see a world where I might have been a grifter if given the opportunity to say some egregious things to make a bunch of money. It probably would have been hard for me to say no. When your job is to make content, if you want to be big, you have to be wildly consistent. How many clips, how many videos, how many photos is any one of these major creators actually putting out a year? I know people who are putting out thousands. And if your entire platform is built on one specific idea, because one time you said this crazy thing, one time you were really funny, one time you had this really cute moment, and now you have to replicate that over and over and over again. At a certain point, you gotta fake it. What's stopping you from doing what you know works?
Raising a kid changes you. Honestly, sometimes I feel like it makes me weak. I can't just do anything because I know he's watching. But I also know that at his age, my biggest influences weren't necessarily my parents. Peer pressure, media, just everything else. I know I won't always have the biggest influence on his life.
Meat prices or meat crisis?
But that doesn't mean that he won't always have the biggest impact on mine.
You're so handsome.
There's a lot of noise. Like, everybody has an opinion. You should do it this way. You should do it that way. I get it. I remember when I stopped shooting music videos. It just didn't feel right. My son would be on my lap, and I would have to go put him down because I didn't feel comfortable with him seeing the images that were on the screen. And I had to ask myself, do these images represent why I do this? And when I realized the answer was no, I had to walk away. And to some people, it didn't make any sense. It wasn't me. There's the easy way. And there's everything else.
There's elevators and there's stairs. There's always an easier way to do something. And it's not even so much that sometimes I'm not tempted to. It's more so because I know that I have a responsibility to my son. He watches everything I do. And that's why I have to be very careful. If I give in to the temptation to take the elevator, then how could I possibly ever expect him to take the stairs? And that's why I say I could have been a grifter. Because sometimes there's a part of me that says, who's gonna know? What if I do this one little thing to make it easier? What if I compromise a little bit? And if I'm being honest, I have. I'm willing to do a little bit of what they want me to do. But for the most part, I stand my ground. I do think it's foolish to not acknowledge that most of this is a game. There's rules, cheat codes, and there's multiple ways to get to the end. And acknowledging that is crucial because you realize that it's a lot more complicated than it looks from the outside. You think it's just about how good you are, or how dedicated you are, or how consistent you are. But there's way more involved that's not super obvious until you actually start playing. There's a real dedication that you have to put into any new pursuit, no matter how simple it looks from the outside. Because trust me, when I first picked up the camera, I thought this was super simple. I thought, how difficult could it possibly be to record yourself, upload the video, and collect all the money? Creating videos has been by far one of the most stressful things that I've ever done. Like, your mind is always racing because you're thinking about your next idea. You're constantly analyzing data, trying to figure it out, and then burning it at both ends trying to get these videos done. You start out because you think it's going to be fun and easy, and you quickly realize that it is hard and a lot of work. The silver lining in that, I think, is that if you're willing to do the hard thing, you're going to get way more out of it than you ever thought was possible. When I think about how far I've come in terms of managing multiple projects, video editing, communication. I have learned a lot of skills and I've grown a lot. And that was an unexpected consequence that I'm grateful for. But I get why the grifters take the elevator, because why would you want to put hundreds, maybe thousands of hours into this and possibly get nothing in return? But that's why I'm telling you, that's impossible.